over there and spill it. And get all in your space over here. I have to like almost fall out of my chair to spill your soda. Oh, here.
Good evening. We'd like to welcome all of you to the regular meeting of the Stillwater Planning Commission, Tuesday, October 17, 2017. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I think we have an introduction of a new development review manager. Would you like to do that?
Good evening, Patty Evans, Development Services. I'd like to introduce a new employee in our department, Lance Gross. He's our Development Review Manager. He's been with the city about a week and a half. We're glad to have him on board. He's going to start doing most of the presentations for you. So, Lance? He's come from Oklahoma City. He worked for Oklahoma City 26 years. So we're glad to have him.
It's great to be here. Would you like to come up and say a few words? Sure.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here. It's kind of like a homecoming. You know, I went to school here, and you know, that was many years ago, 30 years ago. But Stillwater has changed so much, and it's just an awesome place to be. And I'm honestly thrilled to be here. So,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, welcome aboard.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome.
All right. Well, then we will begin then with the land use items for discussion and possible action. We'll begin with specific use permit PZ-17-2249, requesting review and approval of the specific use permit for Solid Rock Church, Inc. at property addressed as 2917 East 6th Avenue for an LED message sign adjacent to the property. Well, Mr. Gross.
yes,
Wonderful.
Lance Gross, Development Services. The specific use permit before you today is located at 2917 East 6th Avenue. The location of this is, the subject site is located on the center of your map. It's currently zoned CG, Commercial General. It's adjacent to the John Deere dealership. And to the north is RTM, residential two-family, multifamily. And to the south is residential manufactured home or mobile home. To the east and to the west of the subject site is also CG, Commercial General. And the SUP is required when the property is adjacent to a residential zoning district or use. And the first photo that we have is looking to the south. And you can see this, the manhole, and there's a 15-foot wide easement that goes east and west of that. And the applicant wishes to install the sign to the south of this manhole. What they will do is keep the sign outside of the easement. And the static sign is located on the top, and it's a 6x10 sign. The LED sign is right below that, and it's a 4-foot 3-inch by 6-foot 3-inch sign. And the overall height of the sign is just under 20 feet. Findings: the property is adjacent to the property zoned and used for residential. The LED sign meets the size requirements. Are there any questions?
No
questions? Oh, go ahead.
No, I didn't have any.
Are there any lumens requirements or things in terms of how bright the light is in the evening or anything like that as well?
Yes, according to the requirements, it's automatically dims at a certain time. It's, per code. So I'm not exactly sure what those times are. Patty?
It depends on the ambient light
Okay,
that's around it.
Okay.
You have to have a sensor.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, yes.
We'll now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the item, please step forward, give your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the item, please step forward, give your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask for staff's alternatives.
The alternatives before you are recommend approval as presented, do not recommend approval, or table the item to a certain date.
All right. Any additional questions for staff? Discussion.
I know we've allowed these signs along Sixth Street fairly often, so I have no problem with it.
I move to accept findings and recommend the city council approve the proposed specific use permit as presented.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, we will now vote. Motion to approve the sign, 4 yes, 2 no. The motion passes. The next item for business is Arbor Village LLC Final Plat PZ-17-2220, requesting review and approval of the final plat to replat 12 existing lots into 24 residential lots and 3 outlots on a portion of property addressed as 1 and 55 through 99 Arbor Circle. Sorry.
Good evening, Tom Coots, Development Services. Oh, that's right. I made that mistake. All right. The Arbor Village replat area is highlighted in the red in the map below. It's a portion of the Arbor Village development. You actually heard this case within the last year. They had to amend the preliminary PUD because the properties generally fronting on 19th originally allowed for commercial office uses, and so they amended the PUD to remove that use and allow single-family residential uses. And the GIS maps still haven't been updated yet. All the property in red is actually zoned RT PUD, which would be the same as this orange color over here. We went ahead and zoned the whole thing to the RT, but the maps haven't caught that yet. So the rest of the areas that used to be zoned office PUD is still zoned office PUD, and the remainder of the development is RT, which is 1 and 2 family PUD. However, the PUD only allows for single-family uses. So, nice and complicated. So the property is along 19th, near 19th and Western. It's right across the street from the Babcock Park. It is surrounded generally to the west side would be zoned RSS, residential small lot single family. Then on the south side, some of it's RSS and some of it would be office, some of it would be actually a multifamily zoning district. And then on the east side, that would be the compensatory storage and drainage area for the development, which is still zoned office PUD. This shows just an overlay of the final plat on top of the existing area to give you an idea of how these proposed lots key into the area. Should point out that it's the exact same layout that was shown with the preliminary PUD, which also functions as the preliminary plat in this case. As we said in the title, it is rezoned. It's to allow for existing 12 lots in that area to be replatted into 24 lots and 3 outlots. The outlots are generally kind of drainage areas. This is a blow up of the plat in case we need to look at it in detail. This is the property along 19th looking to the west from the main entrance. This would be looking to the east on 19th from the main entrance. And the lots, I should point out, are the grass spaces of the proposed lots. This would be looking on Arbor Circle, looking toward the west. Once again, the lots would be the south side of the street here. And this would be looking north on Arbor Circle. So the lots on this side would be the east side of the street. Findings include the proposed final plat meets the PUD that was approved, the preliminary plat that was a part of the PUD, and all necessary zoning and subdivision requirements. Should also point out that some of the lots are technically still within the FEMA floodplain. However, they have been physically raised, and that's intended to be taken care of before, as a part of the development of the property. But some of them are technically still within the FEMA designated floodplain. Do we have any questions for me?
Walk me through that a little bit. If can they go ahead and build even though the LOMAR hasn't been done, or how does that work?
You can, if you would like to. Basically, what you do is to follow the city's floodplain requirements. You've got to turn in what's called an elevation certificate to actually demonstrate that you are actually above the floodplain level of the house, because your construction needs to be at least a foot above the floodplain level, and the dirt work that's already been done out there is already above that level. So they would turn in an earth change permit to demonstrate that, and since they are still within the floodplain extents, they would still be required to purchase flood insurance despite the ground physically being above it. So it's in their best interest to do what's necessary to officially remove the properties from the floodplain.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No more questions? And I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the item, please step forward, give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Kelly Harris with Keystone Engineering, located at 923 South Lowry, here representing the owner tonight. All we're doing is just proposing to continue the lots in the similar size and orientation as what's already been constructed, and just take out that commercial area and to build those as residential. Any other questions? Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the item, please step forward, give your name and address for the record. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the item, please step forward, give your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for staff's alternatives.
Okay, we have two alternatives this time. We can accept the staff findings and recommend that the city council approve the final plat, or we can find that the plat is not in conformance with either the comprehensive plan, the preliminary plat, or any subdivision or zoning requirements, and thus recommend that the plat not be approved by the city council.
Final discussion, comments?
It looks very similar to what we saw before, so with that, I'll make the motion to accept findings and recommend the city council approve the proposed final plat as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the recommendations. We'll now vote. The motion passes 4-0. We now have, the next item is the approval of the meeting summary for discussion and possible action of the regular meeting, October 3, 2017.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting summary of the October 3rd meeting. Motion passes 4-0. The next planning commission meeting will be November 7th, 2017. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
At a time.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. The motion passes 4-0. Thank you all very much. Good evening.